What is up, my Crystal Pepsi enjoyers, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I am flipping my Volt Pro, which I just realized needs more lube, so we're gonna go do that real quick. But yeah, I am flipping my Volt Pro. Gotta love that thing. Super fun. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about something that I think is pretty important. This has to do with the community. I don't know if you have noticed personally, but I think this has been something that a lot of people have noticed, be them companies or just individuals, but it feels like the community is in a very strange spot right now. The Balisong community is having trouble with, in general, I think just with growth and all sorts of stuff, but interestingly, the more I look at it, the more I think about maybe it isn't necessarily so. Like, the community seems to have slowed down in a number of ways and sped up in a number of ways. So, you know, I guess it's not all straightforward, to be fair. But that problem has been attributed with, oh, we're not getting enough people into the community, you know, like we need more people to be into Balisongs or something like that. And honestly, I think that isn't necessarily the actual problem at its core. I think the problem we're experiencing in the Balisong community is retention. I think that people don't have a reason to stay in the Balisong community nearly as much as they should. Because I think that we've got getting new individuals into the Balisong community pretty on lock. A lot of people are still getting into Balisong every single day. And I think that's really cool and really exciting. And like, there's a lot of awesome stuff behind that. But at the same time, I think the problem becomes, well, now that we've got people into the Balisong community, what's going to keep them around, right? So maybe you buy a Volp or a Canyon or a Squiddy or something, right? And like that becomes your first Balisong and you're in the community. Well, currently, there isn't really anything set up to like make you want to stay in the hobby, right? And so what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is like in the hobby, you can learn to flip and you can learn to get better at flipping. But the only thing that is driving you to learn to flip and learn to get better at flipping is your own interest in doing that thing, right? Which can be good. Like that can be a very good driver. Maybe you're watching videos of a bunch of people who are very good flippers and they're inspiring you and you want to be like them. And so you put effort and time into figuring out how to become a better flipper and do all of this cool stuff, and like you want to do that, right? That's great, but that isn't necessarily something that is sustainable, right? Eventually, maybe you'll become burnt out from that process, or the interest that you experienced from doing that, or you'll figure, you know, you'll hit a plateau with your flipping and you're like, oh man, I really want to keep doing this, but I just feel like I can't improve, and so it becomes stale and lifeless and something that you just don't really have the drive for anymore. And that's sad. But it is a very authentic, normal experience. The problem, I think, with the Balisong community and the thing that it's lacking is twofold. One of them is competition-based stuff. I think that the Blade Show competitions just honestly aren't very good. They're not very well ran. They don't have a very good, like, you know, their prize pool is fine, but the judging system is always weird. They're judged more like a amateur dance battle than they are some sort of like major competition, even though they are the only existing major competition in the Balisong space, which is not good, that's not ran very well. You know, compared to something like Yo-Yo, which has international competitions that happen, Balisong needs something like that. We need a professional scene so that we can have an advancement of the hobby that is driven by competition as much as it is driven by friendly interaction. However, friendly interaction is the other thing that the Balisong community is missing. And here's the sort of ticket as to how you can fix this issue. Not only is competition important and something that I want to kind of put more effort into creating, but community is just as important. There are two things that could keep you around, one of them being, you know, an endeavor to get better as a flipper for the reason of competition, but the other is the community itself And online, we've done an okay job in some circles for creating that community. But also, in a lot of ways, we haven't. There's a lot of spaces that the Balisong community inhabits that are just kind of weird and sort of toxic and just not something that I really consider to be a very good or active community. And the other problem is that Balisong is a social hobby. Blade Show is extremely nice because everyone gets to stand around and hang out and, flip their knives with one another. And, we have these large circles of people who are flipping their Balisongs and, exploring that. And then what's even better is that they're exploring that and then they're sharing their knowledge with each other. That is the best way to learn to flip better, is to physically learn to flips from somebody else. So, how do you fix that problem? Well, this is something that is on all of us. As compared to the competition stuff, which is something that needs to be run by an organization or whatever, this problem, the social problem, stems from us. I believe that something we need to do is endeavor to have more local area meetups and more social local interaction with people that live near you, that you can interact with and go and hang out with and flip with. Not super often. It doesn't need to be something that happens, weekly. But if you can do a flipper meetup once a month, once every other month, that kind of thing can have a dramatic effect on your local community. You can create a place for people to interact and have amazing times and, on a deep level, strengthen the core of the Balisong community. So to some degree, this is a call-out post to say, hey, if you have the ability or the drive or the desire, or if you have ever thought about it, go onto Instagram and make a story, say, hey, I live in this area. If you live in this area, DM me. Let's create a group where we can all talk. And then maybe we can schedule a meeting or something like that. We've done that in Georgia. We have meets here in Georgia every once in a while. And I think that is something that is really, really important for the Balisong community as a whole. Getting these meets to happen is something that can genuinely increase the quality of our community, increase the size of the community, and increase the longevity of our community. It is super important and something that I think has positive effects on both a community level and a personal level, because having a small community that is local to you that you can go participate in, it can change your life. It genuinely can. So, yeah, I think there are problems with the Balisong community, and I think that they are worth looking into and worth attempting to fix. But at the same time, I think that we have the power to fix some of the major ones. And the main way that I think we can do that is by building our own local communities. So once again, as I said, reach out to people. Figure out who lives near you. Figure out how you can make something happen. If you have that desire, if you want to flip Balisongs and hang out with other people, you don't have to wait until Blade Show. You can just do it. That's the secret that they don't tell you. You're allowed to just do stuff like that. You just can. I had a very interesting experience like that with, I do my DJing stuff. And I play VR chat every once in a while. And one of my friends was talking about, because I was talking about, oh, I really want to DJ in VR chat, but I never really have done it before, and I don't know how it works, and I don't have the time, and blah, blah, blah. I've never been invited to a club. And then my friend was like, oh, well, you can just set up a stream and do it. And I was like, oh. And then the other night, I went into VR chat, and I just messaged a few of my friends, and I was like, hey, I'm going to just DJ tonight. I'm just going to do a little pop-up thing and in a club world, and I think it'll be fun. Let's just go do that. And then I did that, and a ton of people ended up showing up, and it was like, oh my God, wait, you can just do that. You can just tell people you're gonna do a thing, and then they'll come. You can just make an event. You don't have to wait for someone to make a Balisong event in your area. You can message some people and make that Balisong event happen yourself. You guys can just go to a public park somewhere in your area and hang out and drink some coffee or whatever and flip your Balisongs and have a great time. It's so cool. I love this community, dude. There's so much cool stuff that can happen because of it. And so, genuinely, I really, really hope that we can make a difference in this way. So, yeah. As I said, and this is something too, for anybody that like has a channel that makes their own Balisong videos, if you're watching this, I highly encourage you to talk about this issue on your channel, and to, you know, encourage people, similar to what I'm doing, to attempt to make, you know, in-person localized events. I genuinely believe this is a very important thing for the long-term health of the Balisong community. The Balisong community is an inherently social thing that we all are participating in together. Like, the whole idea of learning to flip these things is so that you can hang out and learn from other people. You can hang out with and flip and learn from and flip with other people. And I think that's super important. So anyways, that's a bit of that rant for today. I genuinely think this is a way that we can really make a difference in our community and make bigger things happen and make more cool stuff happen. But I think it starts on a ground level of just figuring out, you know, locally who's around me and what can be done to make events happen more regularly. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed that, and I guess I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.